Hi, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Doni from The Glittered Rose. Today I thought I'd share with you something a little bit different, and that's some artist trading cards. So a subscriber actually suggested that I make some ATCs, and I thought, why not? It's been so many years since I've made an ATC, and I want to say probably 15 or more years. It's been a really long time. So I thought today was the day. I'm not feeling too great. So I thought it would be a perfect opportunity because they're just little snack size creations that I could make one and go and sit down or lie down between making them. There's no pressure. So I thought today would be a great opportunity to give it a go. And I would be lying if I said that I didn't find them a challenge. I think, such small size really means that you're limited with what you can put on. But I think that the results are really sweet and I'm happy with the end result. Be sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below with what you think. Let me know which one's your favourite. I think that the purple mushroom's mine. Alright guys, let's get into it. So I've created a collage sheet. I wanted to have a series of ATCs that match. So I wanted similar colours and sort of similar theme. So I've printed it twice. I've printed it on lovely matte, I think it's a semi-gloss photo paper, and then printer paper. So I think I'll use some as background paper and then some as the focal paper. I just wasn't sure how I wanted to print it, so I want to have both options available. I've got a mixture of vintagey themed images. I have some lovely thick cardstock for my ATCs. For my first ATC, I'm going to pop down some vintage novel page. I'm just gluing it down with some collage medium and just sealing over the top of the page. There's been a lot of talk in the Facebook group about sprays. There's some people using them, and I don't get to use them that much because I've been doing a lot of work in my art journals lately. I haven't been doing a lot of tags, so I've been missing them. So I'm going to pull out my tags, I think, for these ATCs and use them. I think I'll use similar techniques for these ATCs, just so that they all go together. So there'll be a series of ATCs and um, they'll look cohesive. Hopefully, it won't be too boring. I'll try to do some different techniques on each card to make it interesting, but I still want them to have you know, to look like they belong in a series. So I've grabbed a stencil and now I've grabbed my Distress Micro Glaze and I'm just going to pop the glaze through the stencil. And this is just going to work as a bit of a mask with my sprays. And you'll see as I'm using my sprays that the color won't go where this glaze is. You are able to use other products like Vicks Vapor Rub, so you don't specifically need this product. Just something that's sort of an oil base and thick. I'm just going to grab my spray box and we'll get to spraying. Okay, so for this I'm going to use hickory smoke in oxide and seedless preserve in the oxide, and in the stain I'm using hickory smoke as well. I do like to use a mixture of the stains and the oxides. Just spray a bit of water on. I'm going to grab out my silicone mat for the next bit. Personally, I love layering these sprays up by spraying directly onto a silicone mat and having the sprays bead. So the bigger the beads, the better the results. And then drying between dips, and then you really get sort of a grungy textured effect at the end. And so I layer up lots of different layers with the different color and then the same colors layered on top of each other. Um, I think if you go in with different colors and don't dry between them, they tend to mix and muddy. But if you dry between each layer, you get I I think you get a better effect. But personal preference. See, it's already coming together. You can see where that uh, stencil went on, and it just adds that little bit of texture without too much interest. Sometimes I'll water down the spray, sometimes I won't. It also depends on the color. Some of the colors look better watered down, some don't. This grey, I think, looks much better straight out of the bottle. All right, this is looking pretty good. I think I'm going to dry it and then we'll have a close look at the finished effect. It's so good. I love the colors. I really like it. You can really see where that stencil went down. Now I'm trying to work out which image to use, and I think it's pretty clear. It's got to be that purple mushroom. So let's cut that out and decide how we want it. I'm going to cut this out and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have glued it all down and now I'm just going around the edges with a Distress crayon. Just in the same purple that's in the background. And I think that's looking pretty good. I really like that. I'm happy with that. I'm one of these people who really like rounded corners, so I'm going to round the corners. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to set it down and just think if it needs anything else, and we'll get started on the next one. Okie dokie, let's start the second one. So I've started the second one the same way that I started the first one, and I've got the paper down first. I'm using oxides again, and I've got spun sugar, kitsch flamingo, kitsch flamingo, and vintage photo. And I'm doing the dippy method again, just layering it up and drying it off um, between layers, making sure that the inks bead on that mat to get a nice result. And just layering it up, trying to leave some white space, but that's not my forte. Okay, I'm going to layer this up and I'll be back. I don't want you to have to sit through me doing lots of layers. It'll be pretty boring. I think she's looking pretty pretty. She's looking good. All right, I'm going to clean my work area off and we'll get on to the next bit. Okay, so I've grabbed some Kitsch Flamingo and I'm just giving that a little spritz just to add a little bit of shimmer. And I'm going to dry that off. This is just in the spritz. Okay, so I've grabbed some gesso and I'm just going over the white areas just to highlight the white space. The thing that I find a little bit frustrating, and this is something that my mum will tell you that she really doesn't like about the distressed range, is that it's water reactive. So it is reactivating with the gesso. So my white gesso is turning brown. Oh well, I could have sealed it first. Okay, so off camera, I have rounded the corners and I've grabbed out some mummy cloth by Tim Holtz and I'm just going around my image. Oh, I've punched it out with my circle punch and I'm just edging this circle of the flower with the mummy cloth just so that it stands out from my ATC a little bit. I'm sorry, it's a little bit hard to get this on camera and still be able to see what I'm doing. I might be back. I might do it and I'll come back. Okay, so that's all stuck on. I'm going to fill this with some glossy accents. So this is like a clear glue. Well, it will dry clear, but it'll give it a nice hard resin, sort of a look once it's dry. So I'm going to squeeze it on and then pop it aside to dry. We'll come back to it. We might start our next one now. Okay, so to prep for our next ATC, I've already popped down our vintage novel page and cut out our froggy. So the frog image is a little different. So it's sort of a black and creamy type of an image with just the red color. So I want to pop some green in the background. So I've grabbed out peeled paint and ice spruce. The peeled paint is the oxide, and then we'll just pop the green in the background just to give the idea of the, him being in a swamp. And the green for the froggy. So we'll just layer it up like we usually do. My heat tool's getting very hot, so I'm just being careful where I pop it. Be interesting layering these two colors together. Yep, they look good. Sometimes it's a bit of an experiment what colors will work well together. Oof, you should have seen the theme that came up from this tag. I'm just very mindful that we've got 4 ATCs to make and there's a lot of steps. So I don't want to keep I don't want the video to be an hour long and have you bored to tears. So I like to chop out, bits and pieces that I think that you don't need to see, bits that aren't necessary, or bits that I think won't be very interesting. So I think sometimes people like to keep unnecessary things in their videos because um, they like to keep people watching for their watch hours, but that's not me. I'll add a little bit of grey, bit of ice spruce just so it's not looking so green. That's looking pretty good. All right, I'm going to dry that and then we'll be back. Okay, so I've just popped some air bubbles in the last ATC. Um, Sometimes in the glossy accents you get little air bubbles, so you just need to pop them with a pin. And I've decided Mr. Froggy needs to have some bulging eyes, so we're popping some glossy accent on his eyes, and I've also gone around the edges with some Distress crayon in a matching green. And I think that's looking pretty good now. I found the perfect saying. It says, "Deep into the dark swamp." Perfect. I'm just outlining it with my Stabilo wall. Just grab a bit of a wet brush and go around it. I think vibrant will be pretty good for the flowers. In person, those flowers are pretty vibrant, especially under those under the oh gosh, my brain isn't working very well today. Under the glossy accents. When that dries, they'll be nice and vibrant again. Now I need to think of one for this. This'll do. On my adventures, I found a toadstool. All right, so lucky last. I've done a little prep work and I've started on my ATC. I've got my paper on and I'm just popping on an image of a butterfly to finish it off. And this is just from the collage sheet that I've printed on the printer paper. And just knocking back that white from the tear and gonna glue that on. Yep, that looks good. I'll glue this down. I'd like to thank Sandy. Um, if you didn't mention ATCs, I don't think I would have thought to make these ATCs, and they've been really good. So they've been great while I haven't been well, but also something different, sort of easy for me to create while I haven't been well as well. So thank you for the inspiration. I'm going to go to the little toad house. I think it's so cute. I do wonder who or what lives there. I'm going to go fired brick in um, oxide, which is a great orangey red color, and scorched timber, which is strangely enough one of my favorite distress colors in the stains. It's just the best brown. It's so grungy. I just love it. So, again, just making sure it beads and then layering it up. Um, yeah. So I won't make you sit through too long of me layering up because you've already seen me do quite a bit of it already. But I think that these two colors should go really nicely together. So much fun to be able to create with printables. I just love the options that you get. Really opens the world of creativity. All right, a hint when you're using oxides is to shake it from side to side. It really loosens up that oxide and mixes it in a lot quicker than if you were shaking it up and down. All right, I'll be back with the finished background. I'd be lying if I didn't say I really love this background. I reckon it looks really effective. Oh, how cool are the colors together? Perfect match. Oh, they're cool. All right, so I've already rounded the corners and I've gone around with the scorched timber crayon around the edges. I think I might edge the image with a crayon as well. And I've also got to find a sentiment or a saying for it as well. I think it's perfect. There are others. I think that's perfect. I'm just going to pop a little bead in the top corner. Um, with some hot glue and hot glue the picture down. It's a little bit damp underneath it just to try and set it down properly. And then we're all done. Have a look at all the ATCs. All right. Just move things out of the way and then we'll have a closer look at all the ATCs. I love them with the rounded corners. I think that's my favorite. It's gorgeous. I love that one too. The frog's pretty cute. Oops. Still wet. By the time that dries, I think that's going to look really effective. I do wonder, I think some rock candy would have looked really nice in that as well, a bit of glitter. Um, but here they are, all finished. They were a challenge. I'm not used to creating in such small format, but I had a ball. Thanks again to Sandy for the idea. If you've got any suggestions, let me know down below. Let me know which one's your favourite. I really do love reading all your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, guys. Bye for now.